I think we can tell.
I want to first thank everybody for coming. I'm feeling a little overwhelmed. That service for all of you that were there at the National Cemetery was so cool. It was just amazing, and he would have loved it. I want to start with a little levity and go Derek Zoolander on you and tell you that I will be the Googleizer today. Just to hopefully start things on a light note. And I want to apologize in advance because I'm a crybaby. So you're going to probably have to, is that funny? I don't control my emotions very well. And I think that might have been a male Weddle thing. I know, like Dad cried every single time he ever heard Jackie sing as well as did I. So we're looking forward to that. So let's. I really should have. So let's not. That's okay. I'm fairly large print.
Okay.
I'll also apologize. I'm going to mostly be reading this because I don't have it memorized. So Harold Elliott Weddle was born on November 30, 1930 in the little town of Dawson, Iowa, to Cecil and Letha Weddle. He was the middle child of 12 siblings. I learned something in the process of putting this eulogy together that I did not know. His middle name Elliott, so a lot of you know, but some of you don't know, that the Weddle family called Dad Elliott. Some of us later always knew him as Harold, but his family all called him Elliott, and that was his middle name. And that middle name was named after the doctor that delivered him. I never knew that all these years. He currently has, of those 12, 5 siblings still alive that he's survived by. Only one is here today, Uncle Pat, I think. I'm looking for Uncle Pat. Is he here? No?
He had to go home and change his shoes because they hurt.
He'll be back. He'll be
Yeah,
here.
but should we wait?
Or you let everybody eat.
No, should we? I'll probably never get everybody's attention. I'll probably never get everybody's attention again. So I guess let's
just carry on, Craig.
go. So he is survived by brothers Bob and Pat, and sisters Mary Lou, Donna, and Carolyn. And the other, Pat lives here in Auburn. The others were not able to travel. They all live back in the Midwest. So I wanted to acknowledge Pat being here. So being born in 1930, Dad and his siblings obviously grew up during very difficult times in the country during the Great Depression. Kids think they have it tough nowadays, don't they? He graduated from high school in 1948 from Dawson High School, one of 18 students in his class. Wow, big school. Following high school, Dad served a short time in the U.S. Marines in Korea. There's a long story we won't go into. He received an honorable discharge from the Marines, and shortly thereafter joined the U.S. Air Force in 1952. He served 4 years in the Air Force, mostly at Charleston Air Force Base in South Carolina, working on airplane radar systems. Dad married Shirley Reinhardt in 1955, and together they brought daughter Betty Kay and son Steve into the world. Betty Kay is here from Florida. Thank you. After his discharge from the Air Force, Dad enrolled at Clemson University in South Carolina in 1956, and he graduated with an industrial education degree in January 1960. On his graduation, Dad received an award as the top education student in his class. Something that Dad was really extremely proud of was the fact that he was the only person in his family to obtain a college degree. So that was a pretty big deal to him, something he's really proud of. following Dad and Shirley's divorce, he married Jeannie Green, and twins, Craig, moi, and sister Kathy were born. And he also at that time became stepfather to Jeannie's children, Kyle and Deborah. Dad started his teaching career in Kit Carson, Colorado in 1963, and later moved the family to Washington State in 1966. Dad worked for Boeing for a few years before he returned to his first love of teaching in the Issaquah School District, where he taught industrial arts, history, math, and driver's ed for 23 years at Maywood Junior High School and Liberty High School. I'll talk about some of the stuff we've heard from students in the past. I saw a funny one. So there was postings on Facebook of his passing, and one of his ex-students put a comment in there that it was a girl. I wish I remembered who it was, and I don't remember who it was. And she made a comment in there that Dad nicknamed her Crash, driver's ed. She was a driver's ed teacher, so that was pretty funny. Dad loved teaching, and I've always thought that teaching was a very honorable profession because of the impact that you can have on so many young people. I know Dad was really admired and loved by a lot of his ex-students. I've always known that, and this process has really brought that to light in an amazing way for me. Again, Facebook, I'm not a huge Facebook person, but this is where it gets really cool. There's a couple postings, like I said, about his passing, and I tell you, it's been amazing. The ex-students, just the comments, it's just unbelievable. He was my favorite teacher. I love Mr. Weddle. He was the role model. He was great. And it's just really reaffirming something that I already knew is, yes, he in fact did have a positive impact on a lot of kids in his profession of teaching. And I just think that's really cool. It makes me really happy and really proud that he did. Something that meant a lot to him, I know. Dad met the true love of his life, Carol Ann. In January 1981.
Actually, it was December.
December 1981.
You told him January. And they were married on July 9th, 1982. At this time, Dad also gained 2 more stepchildren, Carol Ann's daughter Lori, and son Lance.
Right there.
And I know that the 2 of you have been a really big part of his life as well. Dad and Carol Ann loved boating on the Puget Sound and going to family reunions. I know everybody in the Weddle family feels like Carol Ann has been part of the family forever. You know, she started going to the family reunions, and it's like she was just instantly part of the family, and it was amazing. And that's who Carol Ann is. I really.
That's all right, I'm all right, baby too.
I can't express enough how much Carol Ann's meant to our family. And without a doubt, the years that he had with her were by far the happiest years of his life. And we all really appreciate that. And just need to know that you will always have a special place in our hearts and be part of our family. We love you. Second. Dad loved woodworking. Everybody knows that knew him at all. A lot of people here probably have coin banks and clocks and cutting boards and even cradles that he made over the years. I know his handiwork was always really popular items at the Weddle family reunion auctions.
I know, I have one.
Don't we all? Dad also loved reading. man, I know if I had a nickel for every book that he read in his life, that I would have retired even earlier than I did. Independently wealthy. In his later years, many of you probably know he started writing, and he eventually published 3 books, a trilogy. And I know that was something that he really enjoyed doing and something he's really proud of. Yeah. I'm sure a bunch of you have probably read those books. Dad loved watching baseball.
Think?
I wonder how many baseball games you sat through on the TV.
The funny part of it was that a lot of times he was doing this. And I'd say, are you watching this game?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I'm watching. So we watch games.
Yeah.
They
Cardinals fan.
They keep popping up on the TV saying, are you gonna watch this game? And I keep going, no.
The other thing Dad dearly loved was his family, and he loved going to the Weddle family reunions and reconnecting with his family and his siblings. And I think it really hurt him the last couple of years when his health prevented him from going to the reunions. And I know we went this last summer, and it left a big hole not having him there.
You're doing good.
I'm wrapping. Couple little final things. Dad could be quiet, as we mostly all know. Could be a little grumpy.
Okay, so am I.
More than a little. There is a reason, after all, that Carolyn's nickname for him was Bear. I don't know if everybody knew that, but that was his nickname, Bear, and it was aptly named.
Grizzly in the morning and a teddy at night.
The thing about that nickname that I think is important is it really was a term of endearment. Dad was also a great storyteller. It was not easy getting him talking, but if you could get him talking, and if you were patient enough, very important, patient enough to sit quietly and listen and not interrupt him, he loved telling stories, especially about his childhood and his siblings, and it could really be mesmerizing to listen to his stories. And I think the storytelling is part of why he became a good writer too. So. He didn't say it as much as we all would have liked, but he really loved his family. A couple of days before Dad died, Janice and I were with him alone. And he knew he was very close to dying. He was talking about that. And Dad and I asked him, Janice and I asked Dad what was it about his life that made him the happiest. And his answer, and really his only answer, was his family. That was it. Dad is survived by his wife, Carol Ann. His sisters, Mary Lou, Donna, and Carolyn. His brothers, Pat and Bob. His children, Betty Kay, Steve, Craig, Kathy, Lori, Lance, Deborah, and Kyle. 12 grandchildren, 13 great-grandchildren, and many other relatives, friends, and past students. We're all going to miss him.
Very well done, thank you. Let's eat.
Wait a second. I want to give a few minutes. Yeah, I want to give a few minutes.
You have people that come up
You
and
can
talk.
eat in a little bit. Yeah, anyone that wants to sing with it, because it won't happen if we don't do it now, seriously.